All right, guys, Eric Paul's in here. Going to give you guys the core plays for the Arnold Palmer Invitational. I said that correctly. Going to give you the core plays. So, going to go back to kind of the regular video production content schedule that 9 to 5 did all of last year, which is going to be core plays video out on Monday. Tuesday is going to be the betting focus picks. Okay. So instead of kind of breaking down the main video into kind of the picks video and the core plays video, just going to do that all in one for you guys on Monday. And then just real quick as well, we are going to do the Discord challenge giveaway, whatever you want to call it, again this week. And going over last week's winner, it was Josh Ginger, and then also Big Red Thoughts. Got to give it to him. He went out of his way to really promote 9 to 5 on YouTube and then on Twitter as well. So he wasn't actually the random winner, but really anytime anyone goes out of their way to help 9 to 5, I appreciate that. So gonna give him, a bonus giveaway for the Discord chat. So those two are gonna be sent a link for the Discord chat. They'll get the Discord link there. So look for that. So yeah, once again, we'll have that contest again. So pretty much all it is that if you leave a comment, like the video, pretty much just say who your favorite pick is or kind of what your process is going to be this week, you guys will get entered into a contest and a winner will be selected at random. So let's get into the picks for this week, guys. All right, guys, just get into that quick recap of last week. So the WGC event kind of went how it always does, where you have 2 out of 4 really solid rounds. For me, it was the Thursday and then the Sunday rounds were really, quite good, but the Friday and Saturday rounds were not as good. Overall, kind of a push week. The high exposure plays did really well. Had Webster and Brooks in contention, and the other guys in that high exposure range did well. The problem with last week was that the core plays did not come through, which in the WGC event, if that happens, not going to be a good week. But last week for the Puerto Rico Open, one of the best weeks probably that we'll have all year. Very solid week overall. Really sucks that it wasn't treated as like a normal week contest wise, because it would have been a massive week. Still, it was a solid week Puerto Rico Open wise. Not really going to get that much better of a week player pool wise than what we did for the Puerto Rico Open, but hopefully we can get that for the API, because the API has been one of the better tournaments for 9 to 5 in the past. It is a course that plays much more difficult. If you guys missed the Sunday video, pretty much the coverage of that, the breakdown of that is that this is a hard course. So we're going to be looking at bogey avoidance. You need to be hitting the ball accurately. So we're going to look at ball striking. Those are kind of the 2 key stats this week. And then I typically look at greens gained or greens in regulation for this tournament. I want to dial that in a little bit more. So I actually made my own stat. Once again, it's kind of been the theme of 2021. Going to go with greens gained. It is kind of like a 9 to 5 stat only. A little bit different if someone else has that. It's going to be a little bit different with 9 to 5, because I'm really focusing on just players that are getting the ball in a good position, leading to their putts or kind of the chip off the fringe there for greens gained. But let's get into the course overview for this week. All right, so just looking over, this is a course where I would say that course history does matter. The players that have played this course typically tend to play better at it. So first in course history is actually Sungjae Im, 2 straight top 5 finishes. Rory McIlroy, 4 straight top 6 finishes. He is absolutely elite at this golf course. And then that being said as well, it is nice to see that he obviously played well last week down the stretch, finally came into some form, so he might be a player that some people get on. Keith Mitchell, actually 2 straight T6 finishes or better. Mark Leishman, no surprise. This guy typically does play well at these tougher course events. He's had a first, a 7th, a 23rd, and a 2nd place finish. Francesco Molinari actually kind of popping up as well. A little bit shocked there, but former winner, 26th, and a 7th place finish. Got Luke List as well, kind of surprising, a 10th, a 7th, 17th, and then just kind of we can see the rest of the players here in the top 10. One surprising thing is that Terrell Hatton, last year's winner, ranks out 22nd in course history. That kind of tells you the quality of field that we have in terms of players in this player pool with good course history. Now he has a first, 29th. He's getting really knocked by that 69th place finish in 2018, but he also has a 4th place finish as well. So obviously he has great course history as well. Now let's get into the players that currently have some good recent form. All right, so just pulling up the players that are in good recent form, and for me, this is just going to be the last 6 events. We look at Victor Hovland, a 5th, a 2nd, and 31st place finish. Been playing some spectacular golf. You look at Paul Casey as well. Paul Casey, to me, very tough to pass up on him this week, and we'll touch on that a little bit later on, but a 5th and an 8th place finish for his recent form. That's spectacular. You look at Matthew Fitzpatrick. He has been playing well as well. Louis Oosthuizen kind of coming on strong here as of late. He's a spectacular play. Max Homa, winner 2 weeks ago. He actually went out and played well last week as well. He's going to be a player that I'm going to be on again this week. And then just kind of rounding it out, Francesco Molinari, actually, Terrell Hatton, I think he's going to be a play that we go back to. Cameron Davis is kind of wrapping up that top 10. And then Mark Leishman, once again, kind of rounding out the top 10 as well. Going to be some names that we just end up on a lot, I think, this week are the players here. So just going based off of what we already touched on for kind of key stats for this week. Key stats this week are going to be focusing on bogey avoidance, ball striking, just players that are hitting the ball well, and then just getting to the green effectively. That's a good name for it. Effective greens and regulation. Oh man, there's the 9 to 5 stat. Let's go, baby. I like that. That's good. Effective greens and regulation, because it's not exactly greens gained. Effective greens and regulation. There we go. 9 to 5 proprietary stat for you guys. But just terms of who are the best stat rank plays, actually no surprise. Sanjay M, typically always a good stat rank play. Here are some surprises to me. Cameron Tringale popping up top 5. Really, that's just because he doesn't really have a weakness in this game. All of his stats are T53 or better. Same thing for Sam Burns. That might surprise some people if they haven't really been paying attention, but he's really been a top 5 stat fit really this whole year. So to me, that's not really shocking. Patton Kazire kind of popping up, 7th best stat fit in the field. With him, he also really doesn't have any real weakness, only stroke gain total, which for me is going to be a secondary stat. He ranks 92nd in that. That's his worst stat. And then really just rounding out the top 10, Matthew Naismith, a value play, really strong stat fit as well. If he could just putt, this dude would be an elite golfer, but he has really struggled putting, but still top 3 in stroke gain total and ball striking as well. So he's a guy that I like a lot as a play this week, value-wise. But let's get into the picks for this week. Once again, guys, going to be going over the picks and then highlighting the core plays as well in this video. So let's get into it. All right, guys, so getting to the high tier range here, in an attempt to streamline it, I'm going to go back to the old formula of just going over the top 4 picks at each price point range and then going on from there. So we can just look at it. So Rory McIlroy does have, he's an incredible play this week. We'll just put it that way. Phenomenal course history, 5th, 6th, 1st, and 4th place finish. Now, yes, the stats are not exactly there, but we can kind of see what's happening there. He kind of has been struggling putting, and he hasn't really been avoiding those bogeys, okay? So if that does occur again this week, he's going to be struggling. But he does have phenomenal course history. This is a course where course history does tend to matter. We kind of see that if a player plays well here, they tend to play well here again. Recent form-wise, he did have that miscut at the Genesis, but really came back strong. He probably needed that miscut mentally to say, all right, let's reset, let's go. Had the top 10 finish last week. Overall, I don't mind him as a play, but we might not need to pay up for him because we got someone like Terrell Hatton here, Terrell Hatton, phenomenal course history here. 4 straight make cuts here in a row. He's a top 14 stat fit play, but you look at total driving, ball striking, that's their bogey avoidance, that's their strokes gain total, 21st in that, total putting, 4th in that, and then effective greens and regulation, effective greens gain, there we go, 48th in that. So top 14 stat fit as a whole. Recent form wise, he hasn't had that many starts in the PGA Tour recently, but 22nd place finish last week, that was solid. It was nice to see him come over to the America, USA, Florida, if you will, last week and have a solid finish. So yeah, I like Terrell Hatton as a play this week. And then Sanjay M, he might be tough for me to pass up on. He is the ideal stat fit. He's first stat fit play this week. His lowest stat that we're looking at is 37th in par 5 scoring. So everything else is, solid. And he ranks 5th in total driving, 9th in ball striking as well. So he's grading out as the best play this week, and we can see why. 28th finish last week, 17th finish the week before that, 32nd, 12th, and then a 52nd place finish, which wasn't that good, but still on a bad week for him to make the cut. That's phenomenal. We saw him last week trending in the right direction to be in contention to win. He could easily go ahead and close this one out. And then Paul Casey as well. Paul Casey has been playing some great golf. Now, he hasn't had a start here really in the last 4 years, except for 2017, where he had that 41st place finish. One surprising thing with Paul Casey, he's not really putting terribly. He ranks 76th in total putting. Where he can be a little bit better is par 5 scoring, 126 in that. That's kind of why he's getting knocked a bit for stat rank, where he ranks 13th, which, not too bad. We'll take that. But he is checking all the boxes, guys. 5th place finish most recently and 8th place finish as well. Paul Casey, to me, just a standout play for me this week. He's going to be a core play. I just don't see myself being able to pass up on him. Kind of a safe play in terms of making the cut. He has a 75% chance to make the cut, which this week, not that bad. I like him a lot as a play. Just at that price point, it's going to be tough for me to pass up on him as a play. All right, guys. So now moving on into the mid-tier price point range, I'm going to start off with Max Homa here, actually. Now, yes, his stats really still aren't there just yet, but they are starting to really affect his overall stat rank each week. You know, a couple of weeks ago, he was like one of the worst in the field in stat rank. So we can tell that he has been getting better stat fit wise. Still on the tour this season, he isn't really grading out too well, but you know, we know just based off recent performances that he has been playing a lot better than what the stats would say. And even with that, he still ranks out top 16 in the model this week. He had a 24th place finish here last year at this course, and the dude has just been in phenomenal recent form. The only worry with him that I can find this week is that people might worry about his burnout. You know, he's played in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight events. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if he decides to withdraw this week. Although, you know, why quit on something good that you have going? You know, the 22nd place finish last week, 1st and 7th. It's going to be tough for people to really beat that. You know, I wish he was a little bit better stat rank, but we know just based off of knowledge that he is playing much better than that. Then we look at Sam Burns, who actually ranks out with a 70% chance to make the cut. You know, just slightly worse than Paul Casey there. Sam Burns, to me, is going to be another core play for us again this week. Just tracking all the boxes. He is the 4th best stat rank in the field. And why? His lowest stat that we're looking at is bogey avoidance, 72nd in that. You know, if he can just minimize his bogeys this week, he's going to be a phenomenal play. 35th in total driving, 17th in ball striking, 22nd in strokes gained total, 13th in total putting, 25th in par 5 scoring, 4th in effective greens gained. So yeah, he really just seems like a great play. We look at the recent form: 3rd, 39th, 2nd, 18th, missed cut. So it does suck that he didn't win at the Genesis Invitational, but you know, typically we don't like to play guys that had just come off of a victory, and so maybe that'll help him this week. You know, we don't have to worry about him kind of losing that mental edge this week. You know, 3 straight make cuts here at this course, checking all the boxes. Sam Burns to me is going to be a phenomenal play. Then we look at Mark Leishman. So Mark Leishman I do like as well. Once again, going back to it, this is a course where if you have good course history, you tend to play better. That's just how it goes. So his worst start here is in the last 4 years was 23rd in 2019. Every other start has been T7 or better. Look, recent form wise could be a little bit better, but in terms of making the cut, that will do for us. 39th, 32nd, 18th, and 4th. Now, not the best stat rank play. He, you know, total driving, ball striking, 165th and 188th. Not good in that. Bogey avoidance, 98th. So there are some signs to kind of have some hesitation with Mark Leishman this week. And that's probably why he's priced at 8.2. But for me, that's a great price point. I'm going to take that any day of the week. He still grades out top 11 in the model this week. So I think he's a phenomenal play. And then finishing out the mid-tier here, Jason Kokrak. So Jason Kokrak has made 3 out of 4 cuts here. Missed cut in 2018. After that, a 10th place finish in 2019 and a 18th place finish in 2020. We know with Jason Kokrak, he really had that career year last year, or 2 years ago in 2019. Kind of fell off a little bit last year, and now he looks to be back in kind of that same Jason Kokrak form that we've come to kind of expect from him. So a 9th place finish for Jason Kokrak, high exposure play for us last week. 32nd place finish the week before that. Had 29th place finish at the Farmers and a 56th place finish at the Sony. Overall, he's a top 9 stat fit, and really just, once again, with him and like Sam Burns, if you can just knock off some of those bogeys, you're going to be in for a solid week. Effective greens gained, 48th in that, but you know, top 16 in total driving, ball striking. We like to see that, and he's putting the ball well. So if he can just get that ball to the green, he probably won't make that many bogeys. The worry with him and Sam Burns are not really the bogeys, it's more the big numbers with those two. So if they can avoid those big numbers, they're going to be quality plays for us this week. All right, guys, so now moving down into the low tier. Once again, with the low tier, obviously there's going to have reduced odds to make the cut. That's kind of why they're priced here. Typically with the low tier, it's either they have high upside or they kind of lack upside, and that's kind of how they get priced here. So like someone like Cameron Tringale, we can see kind of why he's priced at this price point. He just doesn't have any course history. So, you know, that kind of takes away from the predictability. But other than that, you know, he's been in strong recent form. We look at those recent starts, 26th, 7th, 17th, 18th, 56th. That's obviously phenomenal. We look at his stat rank. He's 3rd best in the field. That is phenomenal as well. Really, his only bad stat is total driving, 53rd in that, but everything else is, you know, T37 or better. So for me, Cameron Tringale is going to be worth the risk here. Not exactly sure we can end up on him in cash, but in terms of GPP upside, he does make a lot of sense for me this week. Then going down to Lanto Griffin, I actually do like a decent amount. Betting quality recent form, he has made 4 out of his last 5 cuts on tour. He made the cut here last year with a 36th place finish. Overall, he's a top 28 stat rank play. If he plays his game like he should, he's going to be a good play for us. At this price point, it's fine. He's kind of a shoulder shrug play at this price point, but I really do like him as a play this week. So Charlie Hoffman has been kind of hit or miss. And at the start of the year, I kind of said, Charlie Hoffman had an off year last year. I think he's going to have kind of a career resurgence year. And that seemed to be true really up until that little back injury that he had. I believe it was a back injury. 2 straight withdrawals, which are the Farmers and the American Express. Miscut then at the Waste Management. Then he came back, had the 7th place finish, and then the 52nd at the Genesis. I think that week off is going to be good for him. And if that does hold to be true, he has great course history here. A 13th miscut, 14th and a 2nd place finish. Overall, he's a top 16 stat fit, ranks out 14th in the miles. So for me, he's going to be worth the risk. And I think what you guys are noticing here is that we really don't have any strong cash plays to go off of this week. Now, maybe that would be someone like Matt Jones, who has been in a great recent form. 8th, 34th, 30th, 48th, 21st, and 11th place finish. So, 6 straight made cuts, guys. That is phenomenal. Course history-wise, he only has 1 start here in the last 4 years, which was a made cut, a 47th place finish. Wish that was a little bit better. I wish his total driving and ball striking were a little bit better. I wish his strokes gained totals were a little bit better, and I wish his effective greens gained were a little bit better. All those ranked, around 70th on tour, which isn't bad, but he is 9th in bogey avoidance and 31st in total putting. So to me, he seems like a guy that will go ahead and make the cut. For me, that's kind of it. Luke List going to be a decent play, a GPP play, but there isn't any players that we can really hang our hat on in this price point range. There's some players that I'm fine with, like Grillo. I think he'll be fine. I think Adam Hadwin will continue to play well as well, but nothing to really hang our hat on. It's going to make this week difficult because we are just going to try to get lucky in this price point range, but we'll move on into the value tier because the value tier really isn't that bad this week as well. All right, guys, so now moving on to the value tier. I already have it sorted by their salary and by their percent likelihood to make the cut. So which golfers are actually, over 50% likelihood to make the cut? We can see it's a pretty deep list this week, which is not normal. Very quality value plays this week. And I think the first one I want to start off with is going to be Patton Kizzire. So to me, he actually popped up early on the Monday morning betting picks. If you guys want to check that out, I tweeted that out. Doesn't have good course history, 2 miscuts, but that was in 2018 and 2017. Overall, quality recent form. I am okay with his recent form, but overall, he's a top 7 stat fit as well. 32nd in total driving, 25th in ball striking, 9th in total putting, 58th in effective greens and regulation, and he hasn't been making that many bogeys. 44th in bogey avoidance. So for me, he's a guy that easily could go out and make the cut. And then if he does that, he's going to be setting himself up, for a quality, possibly weekend, being that good of a stat fit. Then after that, I do want to touch on Matthew Naismith. 55% chance to make the cut. He is a very, hit or miss play for us this week. So look at it, guys. Recently, 3 straight top 20 finishes. That is phenomenal. He's a top 8 stat rank play this week. 6th in effective greens and regulation. Effective greens gain. Still got to get that. 3rd in strokes gain total. 48th in bogey avoidance, 20th in total driving and ball striking. Really what's hurting him right now is the total putting. If he can just putt a little bit more effectively, he's going to have a better week. And 2020 was his first start here, missed the cut. We don't like that, but, in the value range, that's kind of what you're going to get. Then after that, Kyle Stanley, going to touch on him as a play. So overall, okay course history, missed cut in 2019, which was his most recent start, and then a 14th and a 17th place finish. That's phenomenal. You look at his recent form, 5 straight make cuts, and all of them have been, T39 or better. We like to see that, finishing above half of that week's event is, quality. Overall, he ranks out 34th in the stat rank. Now, nothing really alarming too much. 24th in bogey avoidance, 19th in effective greens gained. It could be a little bit better in total driving, but 47th in ball striking, 24th in bogey avoidance, like I said. So he can just putt better. He's going to have a fine week here. I like the upside with him as a play, but after that, there's nothing I really want to hang my hat on this week. But that is all I have for you guys for the Core Plays video. Once again, the content schedule is going to be a little bit different. This was obviously the Monday preview / Core Plays video. Going to get back into that kind of like I did last year. And then Tuesday morning we're going to come out with the betting podcast, betting picks for you guys as well. Going to cover that more in depth here. I think that's an opportunity for 985 to grow. And then Tuesday after that is going to be the Fluff day. You know, the content where people don't really care, but they just kind of want to listen to golf picks. We'll give you guys sleeper picks, even though we already know what those are. We'll give you guys the fades, and then we'll give you guys the shoulder shrug plays as well. We'll cover that. That'll be Fluff day. Will be Tuesday after the betting picks, which will be posted in the morning. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a like and subscribe. If you guys are interested in joining 9 to 5 Nation, the link is in the description below. $10 a month, best value in PGA DFS. All right, thanks for watching, guys.